Hello again, I'm Brent Pierce, and today I'm going to be explaining my research on a bush pilot for Aviation 105 for Liberty University. So, moving on to the first thing. What is a bush pilot? It is basically a person who flies for hire in small aircraft into remote areas. This would normally include airplanes that have skis, larger tires, and such, even pontoons, so they can get into these austere areas and be able to land. The school puts you through precision flying, so you're able to get the aircraft into confined areas. It teaches you what to look for as far as, would this be a good spot to land? Is the water too rough at this time of the day? It teaches you to do some undercover work to make this a safe, successful flight, being a bush pilot. Um, it is good to have an A&P certification on the table when you interview for a job like this. I will be talking about the minimal experience that you need, but obviously they're going to hire the folks with more experience, and that will not hurt because think of it from weeks back when we did a report on being a missionary pilot. You're flying into almost the same type of area, so I would classify a missionary pilot to kind of be a bush pilot as well. So it'd be good to know, have the background on how to get yourself out of a situation once you're stuck in one, if you were to ever be stuck in one, which it can be more prevalent than not, flying into these areas, having rough landings and such like that. And I'll explain that even further. So, bush pilot, you're wondering what type of jobs are out there? Well, you have patrol officer. What they do is they can chase high value individuals. Let's say if they break out of a prison, or you're just patrolling an area to make sure you're policing it. Guided hunts, bring people in to hunt the grounds that are actually set forth for people to hunt the wildlife. National parks, monitoring fires, wildlife count, and even giving incentive rides. Game warden, almost the same thing, national park, but you're going to be more so monitoring to see if there's any violators and stuff like that in the region. Um, Agriculture pilot, spreading pesticides or water for the crops, so you'd be hired by a farmer. Land surveyor, which would consist of using up-to-date software to plot out and make sure that the land is being surveyed properly, aerial photography, things of that nature. So the pay scale, starting out, I saw a lot of like what you get paid per month rather than salary, because most of bush pilot work is seasonal. So starting out, you can make right around $2,500 per month. Now, the more seasoned pilots, it was saying right around 5 to 6 years. Granted, they have experience walking in. It's right around $6,000 per month, but the top 12% were known to make $8,000 per month. And most of my facts come from the Labor Bureau statistics of 2019. So there are many bush pilot aircraft on the market today. So I'm only going to mention the top five that I've stumbled across through my research. You have the Super Cub, the Cessna 180/185. You have the Maule and the Beechcraft, and the de Havilland Beaver. So these are the top ones that I've seen on the market that you would be flying if you want to become a bush pilot. Now, the design of these aircraft are for where you're going to be landing. So basically, if you're going to be landing in areas where it's going to be rocky or sandy, you're going to have larger tires, almost like a car tire, and you're going to be able to withstand more shock. And now, most of these aircraft too have like a dual suspension on them, so they can withstand a little more impact. Not that you're going to land hard; it's just that the roll afterwards isn't going to be the most improved or smoothest, so it has to withstand that a little more, so it doesn't ruin the integrity of the airframe. But then you'll have typically typically high fixed wing to make sure you have the clearance and you can see it and the dirt isn't hitting it, so on and so forth, or bushes whacking it when you're coming in or taking off your strip that you have chosen. And then skis for areas of snow and pontoons for water. I wanted to highlight some disadvantages of being a bush pilot as well as advantages. We'll start with disadvantages. One disadvantage is that it may sound exciting, but typically the aircraft sometimes take a little more beating, so they need to be serviced a little more. You have to have a well thought out plan more so than if you were just going to go to an airport. You have to do the research if you land there, and most of the times you're going to be hand propping the aircraft. Becoming a bush pilot, you need to be, now this is the minimal, like I said, you need to be at least 18 years of age, read, write, speak English proficiently, must have at least a commercial private pilot license, from the FAA, and have at least 250 hours logged, have your logbook endorsed, and pass the practical test, written exam, and job training required. Advantages, my favorite, you have the scenery, touring, disconnecting from society a little bit, outreach, you're seeing things that most people don't see. And that's my personal outlook on it, and that's why I want to become a bush pilot, actually. It's been my dream. I would love to do it in Colorado, so hopes and prayers to everybody in the aviation career field that they find that thing for themselves where they are going to feel at home with aviation, because that would be mine. Again, I'm Brent Pierce, and thank you for listening. Again, on Bush Pilot.